And now I have an important message to share. Did you know that the idea of a synagogue building on Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach, where we're sitting right now, would have been considered pure fantasy in the 1960s? A 1959 article from the Anti-Defamation League described Delray Beach as one of the nation's most completely anti-Semitic communities. I know, but here we are. Still the only brick and mortar synagogue in the city of Delray Beach, standing with dignity for over 40 years. And yes, there are other congregations nearby, but only Temple Sinai is within the city limits of Delray Beach, formerly known as one of the nation's most completely anti-Semitic communities. Proof that attitudes can change, and a tribute to the resilience and chutzpah of our founders and other pioneers in the community. We should all be grateful for this progress, and it makes our existence as a physical presence and a strong congregation even more important. But this is no fairy tale. Anti-Semitism has not disappeared. There is a resurgence of hate that is chilling, to say the least. Rabbi Steve knew that he and Temple Sinai could not ignore this, so he and Reverend Paul Kane of St. Paul's Episcopal Church have formed an anti-bias coalition to fight against not just anti-Semitism, but hate of all kinds in our community. Our Rabbi Steve has been very successful with creating and implementing similar programs and alliances in his former congregation and community of Suffolk County, New York. Rabbi Steve and Reverend Kane are carefully planning the growth of this coalition. You'll be hearing more about how to participate as plans come together. We're proud that Temple Sinai helps the community, repairing our corner of the world as best we can. Volunteers here make and distribute 150 sandwiches a week, plus toiletries and clothing to those less fortunate. We also support Cross Ministries and Jacobson Family Food Pantry with regular financial donations. We feel very blessed that we have a building, a permanent home to gather, to do this good work, and also to pray, teach, learn, and socialize. Not all organizations have this luxury. It's a place for children to learn our traditions and values, stand on the bima, and see a Torah up close for the first time. Many members from the past return, seeking the comfort and memories of this sanctuary. They walk in and are suddenly verklempt. That means emotional. They say things like, I remember this is where I read the Torah on my bar mitzvah. This is where we said our vows of marriage. This is where I became a Jew. This is where we came with Mom to say Kaddish when Dad passed away. And people who have just moved here come and often say, wow, this reminds me so much of my temple back home. On a personal note, this bima actually is where Eric and I said our vows to each other for our deeply meaningful Jewish wedding on our 25th anniversary 6 years ago. Here's our brief history. Back in the mid-1990s, when we were ready to send our daughters to preschool, it seemed there were only church preschool programs in Delray Beach. Thank God we found Temple Sinai's delightful, very small preschool, and that was the beginning of a wonderful Jewish journey for our family. Religious school, bat mitzvah, confirmation, and youth group for Samantha and Jill, our Jewish wedding, as I talked about, and my joyous bat mitzvah along with 5 fabulous women. Our daughters still keep the traditions to the best of their abilities. Jill is married and living in Japan with a husband who is exploring Judaism, and her dream is to have their Jewish wedding on this bima in the next few years, and you're all invited. Temple Sinai has a building full of both memories and the continuity of Jewish life. And we also have the financial responsibility of maintenance and repair of an over 40-year-old building. Security, insurance, utilities, appliances, the list goes on, and costs for everything have gone up. Can I get an amen? Our volunteers and staff are very creative and work hard at fundraising and keeping expenses as low as possible without affecting the quality of what we offer, and we thank them for all they are doing. We feel extremely blessed to have Rabbi Stephen Moss and student cantor Dan Geigerman. They're attracting new members along with our entire warm and wonderful Temple Sinai family. We're fortunate and grateful that some of our members and friends who are able support us with financial gifts from their heart. All of this helps. But we truly need your gift. The Kol Nidre appeal, this big ask, is a fact of life in most congregations, and we're no exception. We rely on a gift from each of you to signify that you're proud to be a Jew, worshiping in a building that was once pure fantasy in Delray Beach, and that you want Temple Sinai to continue to thrive and grow. Please open the pledge card that you found on your seat or that you've been given, and if you don't have one, raise your hand and an usher will be happy to bring you one. Before you fold that tab to pledge your donation, take a moment to reflect on how you feel when you come into our sanctuary and how you feel when you leave. Think of the value of having a familiar place to come to pray, to learn, to teach our children for the future, and to remember the past. A building that stands for Jewish values and stands against hate, with a congregation that does the same. And then please open your heart and fold a higher tab and pledge a little more. The envelope includes a card to donate to Israel Bonds. This benefits both Israel and Temple Sinai, so we hope that you will do that as well. Please leave your pledge card in the bowls in our lobby as you leave the building this evening. Look for the little signs that tell you, please leave the pledge card here. Or if you must, mail it in the enclosed envelope. And for those watching from home, we really need you to show us that you appreciate being able to watch remotely. Please note the screen that our wonderful video volunteer, Zach Nasonbaum, is putting up now with instructions on how to donate, either by phone or online at SinaiDonate.org, or mail a check. But please let us know that these links are important to you by contributing any way you can. Thank you all in advance for your support. Gemar Chatima Tova.